Testing one, two, three. What's up, guys? It's been a while. I just wanted to check in because it's been a few weeks since I've been on YouTube, and we just wanted to give you guys an update on what I am working on. It is just wanted to start off with reselling is definitely a lot harder than I thought, but it is not more complicated than I thought. It's exactly the same as what I thought it would be. Um, but I just wanted to share some ideas with you guys on what I am working on. I'm here in my garage as usual, but there is almost nothing left in here because I am moved to a commercial space. So nothing in a couple of days, there won't be anything left here. I'm getting married soon, so I want to preserve my future marriage by not having anything at home. So I'm almost there now. So I will have um, ideally no inventory at home, maybe a processing area, but ideally no inventory at home. Everything at right now, I'm in a 600 square foot place and it has 99% of my inventory already set up. I'll do another video out there for you guys shortly. What's up, Lisa? Thanks for stopping by. I'm just going to do a Q&A today and also go over what I'm building for you guys, which is a reseller field guide for 2019. I'm going to compile probably 100 different ideas that people had shared with me over the last couple of years on how to build this thing. I still don't have a great mentor. So um, if you guys know somebody who is in the $3,000 to $5,000 a day range for sales, that's where I want to be for this next coming year. So let me know so I can just learn from them and hopefully can skip a bunch of mistakes. But so far, everything has taken a lot longer and been more complicated than I thought. I mean, sorry, harder than I thought, not more complicated. So it sounds easy to do what I'm about to say, but it's not easy, which is, for example, um, a receipt system. So when you buy something and you come home, doing the same thing every single time so that your accounting is tight is way easier than it I mean, I'm sorry, way more difficult than it sounds. It's not complicated. You just need to write down a procedure and then do it every time, but you need to do it every time, and that can be difficult. What's up, Prince? Yeah, I was chilling, talking to Prince earlier today, and he was just saying how business is not for the faint of heart. It's a lot harder than people think. And one of the, when I tell people you should keep your job and slowly build it up, they hate that advice. But, I'm lucky. I had some other income coming in so that I can work on reselling full time. And without that income, it wouldn't work. It's just hard to build up, especially when you're growing. You have all these extra expenses, people, new, and I live in California, so it's like it's expensive to live here to begin with. So trying to get to the scale where you can afford everything, it's not that easy. I am going to come to New Jersey soon. I want to come visit Prince, check out his warehouse, and haven't done anything on the East Coast since I started this reselling journey. Everything has been here. I've been spoiled by so many resellers living in California, but I definitely want to get up there to the East Coast and meet a bunch of people and see what's going on. But I am going to make a reseller field guide for you guys, and these are the areas that I'm going to go over. Let me know in the chat or in the comments below if you need help in any of these areas and which area. So it's going to be a receiving system. How do you record your receipts? How do you input stuff into your system? How do you prep and sort items? This is probably the best thing I can go over because now when I was moving into a commercial space, a gentleman said, you need 1/3 of your area to prep and sort items. And you don't have that right now at home. And that's what prevents people from growing. You need that space to think. You need it completely clean all the time. And you can see that. Like Prince is one of the best eBayers that I know. And if you look at his warehouse on Instagram, there's a lot of open space. And that's a big deal. Like you need that for peace of mind. You can't have every single space completely cluttered up with stuff. It doesn't work that way. So then you need a dedicated photography area. I consider my area for photography very, very clean to the point where my photographer, James, it's very easy for him to do 200 items a day, which is the expectation for me where ideally is 140 items a day, but 200 a day is no problem for him. He's been doing more than 200 every single day. So the setup is perfect for him. The listing procedures are ridiculously complicated. but they're getting there. They're getting there, close to just being set up. And then there's probably about 8 or 9 steps I need to clean up for the different categories I list in. And then storage. When you guys see my new storage area, it's similar to what I had in my garage, but it was really nice taking it all out of here and resetting it up somewhere else so I could see the different mistakes that I made and what I could improve in that step. I also have 3 stores that do different things but have the same inventory system. So I set up 3 different areas, and that was great too because each time I set up a different area, I learned something new. And eventually, maybe I'll put them all in the same store. I don't think it's that. I was worried about people copying me, but it's not that easy to copy a store. It took me. I don't have kids. I don't have a lot of responsibility, so I can work on this 16 hours a day. Most people can't do that. So it's not that easy to copy. And I have 5 full-time people. So 5 full-time people, and I work on it 16 hours a day. So it's hard to really replicate that. I should not be too I should not be too worried about people copying because it's not that easy. Let's see. Um, and then after the storage, when an item gets shipped, the reconciling system, so receiving and then reconciling. Those 2 systems I have really clean at this point, and it's nice having those 2 the same. What's the content of the 200 item photo shoot a day? 100 of it is clothing, 100 of it is hard goods. Bohung Chunk is asking, why doesn't eBay have an ended and an unsold section? Um, it's confusing. It's not the best tool for searching solds. I don't. I use eBay solds as only 1/3 of my procedure to look for sold items. So I also use Zik Analytics. I also use Terapeak to look for what's selling. And it's not easy. It's a moving target. So if your stuff in your store is not selling, probably it's not popular and it's not priced right and it's not described accurately. Those are the 3 things that cause your items not to sell. No demand, wrong pricing, and incorrect search terms. If you have those 3 things, it's unlikely that your item won't sell. Let's see. I mean, I have more overhead, but it's like I have other income, so that's helped me out a lot. Let's see. This is interesting. Yeah, drop shipping. I forgot your name. No BS drop shipping. When my friend Jack was staying here, he had mentioned working with you a little bit. We can do some stuff together as well. I don't have any interest in drop shipping because I like physical products. I actually think drop shipping is a great way to get started with low capital. But I like physical goods, and I'm not like there's this I enjoy oh Mark, that's right. I enjoy this, so like it's doesn't get old for me. I like physical products. How do I price my items? So my recommendation is 1 penny below market. um that's me. That's where I like to price my items. Even if they're rare, I still price them a cent below market because I want that sell through. If you price things out of the market and then accept best offer, it can take a long time. It's super saturated right now. Everyone wants to sell stuff online. It's very consumer driven. If you see everything that eBay is doing, they're getting consumers to sell more, and they're growing their user base a lot. A lot of people are using eBay now, and all of them are learning how to sell, and it's more complicated and more competitive than before. So I feel like if you are not growing, you're definitely dying right now. You have to have a bigger store to have the same amount of sales as last year. That's my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree with that in the chat, but I think that you need to have a bigger store to make the same amount of money. I don't know what you guys think. What are my thoughts on eBay's new view on dropshipping? I mean, I recorded the call. I called into eBay. They have no problem with drop shippers. It's just that if they know you're a drop shipper, they will give you a lower search rank. So it's just try to at least filter in some physical products is my advice for people who do it. And it's just I think you should do both so that you can be treated like a physical product seller, even if you do drop shipping. Sorry, I'm behind a little bit. Let's see. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna visit Australia hopefully for my honeymoon. Let's see. If I opened a uh, if I opened a beer store, I'd probably be a connoisseur. I'd probably be more into tasting, but I love beer. Yeah, I would do best offer, 1% promoted listings, and a penny below market on most items. Some items you want to promote a lot higher because they're extremely competitive. And then if you are selling a rare item, it might be okay to do promoted because you may want that, you know, other people like this item marketing. So the way I find the market price is I look in Sold, Zik Analytics, and Terapeak. How many items do I have in my store? Is 8,000. Let's see. You don't need to have a big store. You can just have 100 to 500 items. My photographer has a nice store. It's like 1 to 500. He sells 100 items a month, so he does sells pretty decent amount, and he's able to do it and work here 40 hours a week. So he knows exactly what to buy because he's in my store all day and he helps me with shipping. So he only buys what's selling, which is a great way to do it. What's up, Joanna? Um, let's see. Do I believe in investing in infrastructure for the future? It depends on like I don't want to grow bigger than 8,000 items because it's actually I have the capacity for 10 and I'm okay with that because there's no additional listing fee. But I believe infrastructure is nice. It's a one-time cost. I spent ridiculous amount of money on shelves, bins, consulting to try to figure out how to do all this stuff. I paid a lot of money. I paid a couple grand for CPA to help me, an attorney. So I mean, all this kind of stuff's important if you want to grow. Um, but again, like you don't need any of it. It's just really, it's really just like because I want to do that. You don't have to go and spend money on infrastructure. Like I did the 7 video series with Tech and Sports, which is no longer available. And the guy did 7 figures by himself with no infrastructure. Okay. He just sorted things by color. That's like a very basic system. Okay. Like red, orange, yellow, white. That's it. And then he would just find it. And he was able to sell 70 to 100 items a day just like that without any inventory system. Just with what I talked about before, in demand items priced right, described right. That's it. Um, you don't need more than that. Let's see. Do I trust eBay suggested price? No, that's not something that I use to price my items. You're new, but 80% of your profits accumulate crypto. That's great. I am just investing $1,500 a week into Vanguard. So every week for the next 10 years, I have that strategy. That should be $1 million in 10 years. So that's a separate investing savings account. Um, I started that with my fiance. Hopefully she can do the same thing so that we can both have $1 million separately. And then, we'll have investments together as well. But like especially now there's like a huge push for there's dual income families. I'm lucky. I'm the dual income no kids situation right now, so we can both contribute and then have something together as well. But in my family growing up, all we did was argue about money, so I'd like to not have that in my future family. um I use my own app, which I should sell, but I just haven't had time to do any of this e-commerce. I'm sorry, like sales guru stuff recently. But I have, basically I would recommend you work with Mark too. He's reseller, he does reseller finance. And I'm gonna have more stuff coming up because I think that my understanding of how accounting works is pretty decent, but I'm not a CPA. So I have a basic um, profit loss calculator for Multiplatform. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Amazon. So it keeps track of those four for me. It's just a custom made. But I recommend you take that and go to a CPA and make up a system and then follow that to the T. Happy birthday, Duncan. That's awesome. Um, 80% off retail and 50%. No, it doesn't. MSRP doesn't matter. The market is what matters. Whatever the market is paying for the item is what the market is. MSRP does not matter. There's a lot of people on Poshmark that price based off MSRP. I personally believe that is a mistake because, you know, as an example, I sell Ralph Lauren polo bear belts. I sell them for more than retail, right? But then I also sell Jose Bank jackets for 95% off retail. And both of them are profitable for me. So it just depends on what you're selling. Like a Jose Bank leather jacket has an MSRP of $750. You'd be lucky to sell for $50. So that's like, but that's still decent because those jackets are in the summertime, they give them away. They don't cost anything because they overproduce them. You can get them for $10. So, but in the winter when it's cold, you can sell them for a decent amount. But that has nothing to do with the market. The market is the market is the market. Um, I recommend that you focus on the right item at the right price versus listing fees. They're so insignificant. They're 10 to 30 cents for a listing, I'm sorry, between 3 cents and 30 cents is what you pay for a listing. That's insignificant if you actually sell your items. Uh, I use Terapeak every day. It's a great tool. Are my sales slower now? No, my sales are the same. If you guys could help me hit the like button, that'd be awesome. Help other people find my content. I'm going to start doing it more regularly. I just have a few more things to fix with my listing procedures, and then I'll have more time. Um, do I adjust platform prices? Yes. Mercari, Poshmark, and eBay all have different pricing and depending on the items. So I actually, in my spreadsheet, have 3 different prices that I use. Poshmark is usually higher because the buyer is not, it's not as saturated as eBay, although it's getting there. And then Mercari, sometimes I'm a little more aggressive because it's the lowest fees. If you go like priority shipping, I'm sorry, FedEx shipping on shoes for 650 up to 3 pounds and 10% fees is the best deal for the customer. So I try to pass the savings on to the customer. Mercari is nice. I like Mercari a lot. It's a really nice platform. You don't want to pay. See, this is like you don't want to not pay 3 cents to make $10. Like the focusing on your listing fees is like focusing on what seatbelt is in a car. It's like not super important. Um, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Duncan is saying the right item at the right price. Um, let's see. I haven't necessarily had slower sales in January versus December. But I'm not selling brand new goods. If you sell brand new goods, Q4 is a lot stronger generally. Do I sell more wholesale or one-off selling online? I actually sell liquidation. So I consider thrifting, garage selling, and liquidation all the same category. Every single item is unique. So if you guys look at my stores, sometimes you'll see 10 of the same item in 10 different listings. That's because there are 10 different conditions. So I have the capacity right now to list 400 items a day. I don't have enough money to do that, but I actually can list 400 items a day with my current setup and not lose anything. So it took me a long time to build that. Um, but that's the only thing I could do 400 of. I would not be able to ship 400 items a day or do the customer service for 400 items, but I could list that many. I have that much capacity for the systems that I have. Um, yeah, you can't have a longer view on Terapeak. You can use WorthPoint. And since I do sell a lot of hard goods and never talk about that, that's what I use for hard goods specifically, because WorthPoint is the total database versus just 1 year or 3 years. If you just focus on the right product at the right price, you don't need to worry about listing fees. If you're worried about listing fee, like, okay, this is whatever you focus on expands, right? If you focus on trying to save pennies, you can only make pennies. You want to focus on making tens, at least $10 an item, in my opinion. So you focus on that, then you can grow that part instead of growing, you know, growing less 3% fees. I'm sorry, less, under $1 fees is not where you should put your attention. You can. I mean, it's important, obviously, to look at every expense. I'm just saying, focus on it. So Eric, there is not going to be a company that can process better than you can. So you have to figure out what you're listing first, um, and how you want to do it. And then once you know how to do that, other people can do it for you. Um, that being said, there are certain tasks that I do in my reselling that I can't get out of. So at one point, I had 3 people doing this job that I can do. And it's so expensive having 3 people do it versus just doing it myself. Kind of. Okay. Like it costs a lot of money, but I value my time at between $100 to $250 per hour. That's what I value my time at. And it costs less than $100 to $250 for 3 people to do that job that I do. But currently, my system is not good enough. So, what that means is I'm paying probably $40 an hour for this thing that I do in my company that is not as good as when I do it myself. So, that causes me to have to work 42 hours a week on just that one task. So that one task takes 42 hours a week. That's why I don't have time to do YouTube anymore, because I have to do that 42-hour task plus shipping, plus source, right? I have to look liquidation deals. And the liquidation is constantly changing. So, I'm looking at tons of different companies all the time because the inventory is always different. It's not easy to work with liquidation. And as one of my suppliers would say, you go on runs and then that's it. That's how this business works. It's not a, oh, you order, A from this guy and B from this person and continue to do that. It's not that straightforward. It's more like A works for a little while and then it doesn't work at all. And then you try B and B works for a little while and then it doesn't work at all. And you keep switching. So what happens to a lot of people is A stops working and they keep buying A. Don't do that. If, like I used to, when I first started my YouTube channels, I sold a lot of dress shirts. Now I don't sell tops at all. Like, unless it's outerwear. I sell outerwear. Um, yeah, Joanna, actually, so she's asking, when you say you can list 400 items a day, does that mean with employees? Yes. With 2 employees, I can list 400 items a day. But by myself, let's see. Well, this is what I consider. This is what I consider the listing process: prepping and sorting. So that's getting the items ready, um, getting the items ready to be listed. That is basically putting in the different piles. This is going to be donated. This is going to be listed. This is going to be repaired. So that first part is sorting, then listing the item and describing it, then photographing the item, then packaging it and putting it away. That's what I consider listing. If I were to do that by myself, I could do 200 a day by myself, but it would take 16 hours. It is possible for me to do that. I could, but then somehow I'd have to figure out shipping and hang out with my fiance and sleep and eat and all that stuff. But 16 hours of work, I could list 200 items a day. That would be the maximum I could do by myself. But yeah, I have help. If you're in desperate need to organize your merchandise, so this is what I've learned so far. I'm not an expert; I'm just sharing my experience. But like, if you have, let's see, what's it called? It's better to be clear than big. So if you have trouble organizing your merchandise basement, you need to have a reverse sourcing ratio, which means you need to list 5 items for every 4 that you buy, always, so that your death pile shrinks to 0. Um, that's you have to do that, or you will never get out of that situation. You can go on a you can organize, I'm going to go sourcing next Friday and I'm not going to buy anything until then. I'm going to list as much as I can, or I can't go sourcing unless I do this. That's a good way to get into the, right mindset of, you know, um, and to get into the right mindset of not getting a death pile. Yeah, AI is really smart. You can have things, but to be honest, eBay has the best listing software. Even though I used to complain a lot about eBay, I don't really complain about anything anymore. But when you put in the correct title, it will guess 99% of the item specifics for you. It's pretty amazing. Carol likes processing her own listings herself. Yeah. Um, Now with my efficiencies, I'm positive I could run by myself a six figure net income part time. I know that's how efficient all my processes are. To do a listing on eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark for me, start to finish, is less than 5 minutes for all three websites. This includes sorting it and putting it away. It's less than 5 minutes. Like so I can do 12 an hour peacefully, right? And at $10 an hour, that's $120 an hour, right? Part time is 20 hours a week. That's $2,000 a week. That's $100,000 part time. I could do that right now for sure. I can show other people how to do that, but I don't have time to do. I've actually lost like 5 people in my Patreon group because I have no time to do any one-on-one calls, um, because I just have zero time to do that. So like I have the calls in the morning from 6 to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. That's it. I can't even like, I don't even like, I haven't checked social media in 17 days. Like I have like no time to do anything. And you know what's surprising is I was looking at my screen time right now. The thing I use the most on my phone is the clock. That's so funny. I don't know what you guys should put in the chat what you're using on your phone, but like I have everything turned off. I don't get text messages. It's on silent. I don't use any social media. I don't check my YouTube analytics. All I'm doing is looking at how long things take me to do. Um, Debbie is talking about profit piles, no death. Yeah, um, I think that the majority of problems can be solved by increasing your average sale price for most people, right? If you are a solo operation or 2 people or 4 people or small, and you're trying to reduce the amount of stuff you have, just increase your expectation, and you basically cut off buying cheap stuff, and then you won't have a problem. Um, this is the analogy you learn from like um, it's like it's not most people buy products that are profitable but take too much time. That's what I see. Bohunk Junk is saying, you hate how eBay takes you off the listing screen when you end an item. Yeah, eBay is a little bit clunky, but I think that that's good. Personally, the more clunky, the more advantage that I have because I've spent so much time refining all these processes. I'd like it to be as complicated as possible. This is why like Poshmark gets flooded every single time they do a closet clear out or whatever they do. Like it's very difficult to sell anything because it's so easy to use the app that people just flood the app with stuff. So I always do marketing on Poshmark when there's no promotions going on because I don't want to compete with every single person. What's up, SoCal Lisa? I know, right? So this used to have 8,000 items in here and now has zero. So not zero, but a few bins left, but everything is being moved. Um, will I drop ship to make $10 profit? I'd probably drop ship to make $1 profit if the item was replenishable. Do I think I could replicate my business with my profits in a poor area like Ohio or Kentucky? Yes, it would be exactly the same if I lived somewhere else. I would just do only sourcing online, and the majority of my sourcing is already online, so it would be cheaper because I pay $25 an hour for my staff. I would not have to pay that if I lived in Kentucky or Ohio. Let's see, 2 of my items copied. Yeah, again, see, this is MLK talking about your items being copied or thinking about watermarking photos. That's a waste of time. That's not gonna People are gonna steal your photos if you take great photos, period. There's no way to avoid that. Um, Focus on listing more, in my opinion. Like, I can't even count how many things are stolen from me. It's perfectly fine. I even have people buy stuff from me, figure out what it is, and then just return it just so that they can try to sell the same thing. So it's like, um, and I had to pay shipping both ways on eBay. So it happens. It is easy to source too much, and that's, sourcing is usually not the problem. Um, no, I know Ohio's not poor. Ohio has some rich areas. I'm just saying that I'm paying $25 an hour, and I don't think I had to pay that much somewhere else. Not saying that it wouldn't be good, but OGC is asking about running. I'm loving running right now. I'm running a lot, working out a lot. I've had a lot more time. I mean, I'm not using social media at all, so it saved me a ton of time. I'm not making YouTube videos. I used to do 12 hours a week of calls. Now I only have 5 hours a week of calls. And I used to have a one-on-one client, only one-on-one client, and now we're just text message accountability partners. So I've just cut out the major stuff, and I'm spending more time with my fiance, which is nice. Um, but yeah, it's just like there's more important things to me right now, and social media, I haven't noticed anything different. Like, I don't have less friends because I'm not on social media, and it's probably the opposite. Like, more people, I'm trying to be more present when people are talking to me. Like, I'm starting to also learn how to write letters to people and be like, "Hey, thank you so much for helping me with this." Who does that? Everyone sends a DM these days. It's so saturated and like, um, it's so fake. So I don't know. I'm good with no social. Yeah, that's true. SoCal Lisa's talking about some bolos at CVS. This is a great time to buy summer or winter stuff because they're moving into spring and they're getting rid of all this stuff at 90% plus off. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. If you could hit the like button, that would be awesome. Let me know in the chat what you are working on in your business. For me, the part that I am working hard on is my listing process. It's got a few bugs that my listers are having a hard time with, so I want to fix that so that they can continue. You can't take other people's pictures off of eBay. The people do that. So let's see. Tips for just starting out reselling with no sales yet, for sure. Um, the first thing I would do is get a job, so that you have some income, so that you don't have to rely on reselling. Then I would start selling everything in your house, especially things that you like, because those things, if you like them, other people like them, and you might be able to get into a niche. So sell everything you own, get a job, bank some cash, right? And then slowly start trying to get things for free. There's a lady in my mastermind group that is a master at getting stuff for free. She just asks her friends and family, "Hey, I'm starting a business. Help me out. Is there anything that you wanted to donate or whatever? Let me have it so I can sell it." And she's built up a nice bank of cash without spending any money. That's what I recommend you do. Yeah, it's true. More time with her is great. Um, I've spent like there are different things that you work on in your life, and for me, relationships, I feel like I'm doing the best job. I'm not, I could be better on YouTube, I could be better on eBay in my business, but like the relationship part, I feel like I'm doing a good job. I check in with people, um, and even though I think that's the part I'm doing the best in my life, that's the part I want to work on the most because I think it's the most important. Because I that's why I'm making the reseller field guide because I feel like that's really important. I want to show you guys how I do these things because then 2% of people will talk shit and explain why it won't work. These are the best people, the people who know what they're doing and tell you it won't work because of a certain reason. That's the most constructive thing that'll happen. So out of 100 people, 2 people will give you constructive advice, 20 people will hate on you for no reason, and then 80 people will just agree with you. And I'm looking for those 2% of people who will tell me that it doesn't work. So that's what I'm looking for. You're looking for a grand a week. That's a great goal. You're working on being a full-time reseller. That's awesome. Power to you. It's a lot harder than I thought. So, let's see. The Walmart's in your area. Yeah, I don't do retail arbitrage because I don't like driving. But it's a great way to do. I would rather do online arbitrage. Why eBay, not Amazon? I work on Amazon too. Yeah, Amazon is easier to scale, but just in general, the reason, in my opinion, Michael, that it's more scalable is because the products are brand new. So we're talking here about prepping, sorting, listing, storing, reconciling. You could just get a tool like Inventory Lab and send 100% of your stuff into Amazon, and it's like 75% less time. Okay, so obviously that's easier to scale. Um, if you live in the Midwest where things are cheaper, that's not necessarily like it's also cheaper to live. Like here, I'm paying $25 an hour. It's probably, I mean, this where I stay is $2,700 a month. So I don't know like where you guys live. Maybe you guys can put in the chat whatever a one bedroom plus a three-car garage would cost in your area. Um, yeah. When did I become full time? I became full time a year and a half ago. What do I recommend to someone living in a big city like New York to source from? If I lived in New York City, I would sell watches personally. I would sell jewelry or something very expensive because I lived in New York City for 3 years and I sold sneakers that were $150 or more. So just you need to sell expensive stuff if you have no space. How do you get to $1,000 a week? Okay, so my opinion to get to $1,000 a week is you need $52,000 worth of stuff listed, and you need to sell 12,000 of it a month, and a third of that is profit. There's your $4,000 a month net income for most people are trying to replace their day job. So you need $52,000 worth of stuff listed. Um, my eBay store is the one that I share is Daily Refinement, but a lot of people have figured out my other stores too, but I just don't share them because it's annoying to share stuff online sometimes. Um, Yeah, well, there's the most money is in broken or forgotten goods or salvage goods. Somebody dies, all their stuff becomes free. That's the highest profit, right? The next would be somebody throws something away or donates it, you find it and resell it. The lowest would be you have to make the product and sell it yourself. That's expensive because you have to do the marketing. Let's see. $1,100 a month. Yeah, it's a lot. It's cheaper for people. So Marie, I would focus on getting $52,000 worth of stuff for sale and maintain the 20% sell through rate at least. So like sell 20% of it. If you're not selling 20% of it, don't grow. Fix your store so you're selling 20% of it and then grow. Um, Let's see. Yeah, I mean, rent is different all over the place, but I also have 200 thrift stores in my area. If I wanted to only thrift, I think there's 127 Ross Marshalls in Burlington in my area. So if I wanted to do the retail arbitrage sneaker game, I could just I would never run out of stores to go to. It wouldn't even be possible to go to all the stores in a week. That's how ridiculous it is. Um, any storage recommendations for a person with a 300 item eBay store? Yes. I recommend just a simple bin or shelf system. That's it. Shelves are key. So like this right here, all this what's remaining in my inventory would all fit on one shelf. So have a good night, Lisa. Yeah, 25K listed is awesome. Just keep going. My personal goal is 360K listed. And so that's where I'm trying to maintain at all year. I'm not growing anymore. I'm not going to get a commercial space yet. I'm going to stay in this. I have a 600 square foot storage that I'm using right now. Um, but I'm definitely going to move to a place with my fiance and have no inventory at home because and just drive to my storage and work there. I worked out a deal with them so that I can work there so then I won't have to have anything at home. peace of mind at home. Nothing except for literally, I don't want anything at home that's related to reselling. 20% sell through per month is a great goal in my opinion. Wow, Sacramento rent is spiked super high. People are going homeless because they can't afford it. I was just in SoCal visiting Kaz. Kaz is an awesome dude. He's like he scaled his business up super big from nothing, kept his day job, was working, double time, and he's maintaining a relationship, which is very difficult to do all of those things. But he was talking about how he lived in his car trying to start this, and I love that. Like you just get it, figure out how to make it work. It's not easy. But then you know, I don't think easy is the point. You know, $360K dollars. What's up, Clint? Clint. Hopefully you can hear me. I am using I'm using cubic shipping. That's how I'm getting a little bit of a deal on shipping. Not much, but I use cubic shipping to save money on shipping shoes. I'm still renting 3 cars, and I that's the most solid business that I have right now. My rental cars are doing awesome. Do I think 10% promoted listings is worth it? No, I don't think anything above 1% is worth it. That's just me though. I actually don't like promoted listings. I think it's unfair. If you have the best price and the best item, why do you have to pay extra in fees? You should just automatically get the sale if you have the best deal and the best item. Like, I don't, it's not, that's the best experience for the customer, isn't it? It should be the best experience for the customer if you have the best item at the best price. Why would someone with a shittier item for a higher price be able to outbid you for the top listing? That doesn't make sense. Do books sell on eBay? Definitely, but more rare books. I would send them into Amazon. Offer open in Vegas. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come down to Vegas more often. That's actually one of the top 5 places that we would consider relocating to is Vegas. It's too hot in the summer, but you bought your own house on foreclosure for 32 grand. That's amazing. That's amazing. Just to give you an idea, we're trying to save 200 grand for a down payment. So it's it's a different world out here. Yeah, UPS is great too. I also use FedEx Smart Post is a great deal. What sells good on eBay? The 2 biggest categories on eBay are clothing and home goods. Most people don't talk about home goods on YouTube because if you talk about home goods, they no longer become great selling home goods. So just keep those ideas to yourself. What's the best items to sell for the most profit? Okay, this is a good question. I'm going to redefine most profit for you guys. There's 2 kinds of ways of most profit: most total profit and most profit per item. So if you want to sell for the most profit per item, then you want to sell one-off rare items. You want to find a book at a garage sale and sell for $300 because it's rare and out of print. That's the most profit per item. But the most profit total is actually a replenishable item. My friend Prince always talks about, he only has 96 items and never lists anything. He doesn't do any listing at all. And he does like more than $500,000 in sales on 100 items, right? So that's a replenishable item. And the total profit per item is very, very high, but the dollar amount per sale is very low. Like, when I went to I went to an eBay a lunch where there were some really big sellers there, and one person was selling 1,500 items a day at a dollar profit. So that's insane, right? So that's the most total profit. That was one of the people I met that's made the most money net on eBay, but one of the lowest nets per item. So it depends. No, Metsi, promoted listings works. I'm just saying that because I have multi-platform, I don't have to rely on it. It works. If you have a higher promoted listings, you can have a worse item at a higher price and still sell it. That's eBay. So if you're gonna play the higher promoted listings game, don't be the cheapest. Don't why would you be the cheapest and pay the highest fees? Unless you don't like profit. Because that I experimented with marking my items up 20% and then doing 25% promoted listings, and that was amazing. But like every time I sold something to a customer, it was like, gotcha, sucker, because it's like they paid too much. I don't like that. I don't want to be that person. I'd rather be just give a good deal and hopefully it sells on Mercari because it's cheaper. It's way cheaper. Prince sells electronics, which is I think the third biggest category on eBay. Um, that's true. Aaron says a 1% is still a yes vote for promoted listings. I agree. I just do that because it's just easier. 1% across the board is just a straightforward way I do things, but I'm not the way I do things is not the way to do things, it's just the way I do things. Um, I agree. If you do promoted listings, it is a good way to double your listing count because you get double exposure for those guys that are not understanding. You get two placements in the search ranking when you do promoted listings. That's a good point. Maybe for 1% it's worth it for me. Um, should you just started eBay? Should you even try Amazon or Poshmark? I waited until I was doing like 10 grand a month on eBay before I started Poshmark, and then I waited until I was doing 10 grand on Poshmark before I started Mercari. So just slowly add the platforms is my recommendation. I love print on demand. I just don't have enough hours in the day, but I love that. Mercari is my favorite platform by far. What's up, Ed? I remember you. Let's see. Uh, oh yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely. See, Ed is an awesome gentleman that I think he's retired. He's building up a nice business. This is sort of a retirement situation, and I think that's a great way to keep yourself busy. And it's also exciting. I like reselling. I like sourcing. Just not the only thing I don't like about sourcing in the Bay Area is traffic. I don't. If I lived not where it's really trafficky, I would source a lot more. Can you send books FBA? Most people can send used books FBA. Yeah, Poshmark is interesting. Um, I think Poshmark is a great platform, but it's not easy. I think people underestimate how hard it is. So like, I don't know. It is interesting. Like it's pretty complicated. My Poshmark strategy is a lot more complicated than it looks. People are like, oh, well, he's just doing it because he has a social media, but that's not true. Like I have another store that doesn't follow anybody, doesn't have any social media influence. Nobody knows it's me, and it does the same volume just because of the other things that I do, including most importantly on Poshmark is the daily listing. So I have new listings every single day on all the platforms, so that helps a lot. Except for the daily refinement store, since it's really low on my totem pole of importance. I haven't really listed anything since Halloween, actually. Ryan is saying that relisting on Mercari is not convenient. That's another 2019 goal is to build a relister for Mercari. So I'm working on that right now, just for myself. I don't need to share it with other people because I it's really I don't know how to monetize being a guru very well. Um, because I mean it's like why would I want to show 2,000 other people to do the same thing when people don't even want to pay $10 for something that can make them $10,000 online. So I don't know. It's like, is that even worth it? Because you have to do a good job. I don't like selling stuff that's not good. So will I ever move out of California? Yeah. My mother-in-law recommends we move out of California because it's not that easy to live here. What is my thoughts on the video game industry? Video game industry is very strong. I love the video game industry. What percentage of my items are thrifted versus purchased wholesale? I would say it's 80-20 also. Rally Roots is great. I let me see the math here. Um, 7, 1,100. I'd actually like to be 90% wholesale and 10% thrifted. And not even 10% thrifted. I'd like to do 10% garage sale, 0% thrifted, 80% or 90% wholesale personally. How long did it take me to go from 2,000 listings to 10,000 listings? Um, I thought I could do it by myself when I first started, and that was very naive. It took me, um, let's see, if I were to start over right now, it would take me 12 weeks to go from 0 to 10,000 listings. It would just take 3 months because I would try to do between 1,000 and 1,500 new listings a week until for 3 months, and I'd have the same store again. So it depends on your listing capacity. You mostly do wholesale. Wholesale is awesome. Yeah, if you guys could hit to smash the like button, that would be fantastic. I'm gonna do more content, including a reseller field guide with my best tips. I've done that video before. If you guys are new to my channel, I I resell for a living. Sell stuff online. It's great. It's a great way to build up income. It's a great way to meet amazing people. Had a lot of really amazing people in the reselling community reach out, talk to me, share their stories. How are they doing it? What's going on? And I don't have enough time to have that on a larger scale. So it's probably about 30 resellers I talk to, and that's all I have time for. Any experience selling makeup on Posh? Just a couple kits that I thrifted that are brand new and sealed. I don't know. I don't think you can sell pre-owned makeup on Poshmark. But the reason why I'll tell you guys why I think I'm successful on Poshmark. This is part of my strategy, and I don't think this is going to be very unpopular advice, but I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. Um, Part of my Poshmark strategy is mainly items that are under $20. So like it's a poor economy, or I guess the majority of people in the US don't have any money, so I want to sell to those people. I would rather sell to the majority of people. So I like items that are $20. So my ASP on Poshmark is $36, but that doesn't mean that a gigantic portion of my strategy is not $20 or less. So that's one of the reasons why when I watch other Poshmark people and they're not getting the traffic that they're looking for, it's not because they're not sharing enough. It's not because it's because they don't have enough cheap items to get people into their store. Cheap items that people actually want, not Old Navy button down shirt. That's no one's gonna go into your store from that and buy something nicer. I am gonna do reseller affirmations, and that's so funny, Aaron, because I have two of these mics, so I could um, do reseller ASMR and whisper and do that. You know, you will list 10 items tomorrow. You will do your shipping at night so it doesn't interfere with your day tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, I would actually like to do that. Reseller ASMR stuff's pretty fun. Let's see. I think I could hypnotize you guys into being great resellers. So what I would do is, um, basically, this is what I would if I was going to hypnotize people, I would say delete everything on your phone that's not reselling related, including Instagram, social media, all of that. Just the apps that help you research the pricing. Um, I don't have eBay and Poshmark on my phone. I don't know if you guys know that. I have Mercari, but not eBay or Poshmark on my phone at all. I don't waste any time doing that. It takes 2 seconds on a computer and it takes 2 minutes on your phone. So yeah. When you started 10K on the bay, I had 2K in listings. Just curious on oh, um, it depends on your sell-through rate, Sean. So if I was going at it hard, I probably wouldn't be able to list more than 200 items a week, which would probably cap me out at 2,000 to 4,000 listings. It's very hard to go beyond that. It'd be very hard, in my opinion, to get past 2,000 listings solo. Um, and now I have 8,005 full-time people. and it goes up to 10 sometimes if my sales are really bad. Let's see. I don't like only $20 ASP items. I'm just saying that it's part of my strategy, Mertzi. So like, don't only do that because you need you can't. It's very hard to make a living if your ASP is $20. I'm just saying it's part of my strategy. I don't get any notifications if I make a sale on eBay. That's the point. I don't get any, and I'm never distracted by sales. I just handle the sales once or twice a day. Um, into the like that's I don't think you guys recognize how long it takes to answer something on your phone. It's probably 2 to 5 minutes. That's a long time. 20 of those is more than an hour. That's a whole hour gone. Um, one more thing I want to share with you guys is like I'm 35, so the average person lives to 78, right? So that's 53 more years left, really, for me, which is not that long of a time. Only 53 summers with friends, only 53 summers with my brother, only 53 summers left with my fiance. It's not very much time. So like I'm really focusing on saving time. That's everything that I'm doing. This daily refinement thing is just to save time. And I'm listening to a lot of like self-growth stuff. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm not like I did YouTube a lot for therapy. I don't know if you guys knew that. Like it's a good journaling exercise for me. I love sharing my thoughts, meeting people, and I'm pretty zen at this point. And so like I have such little time left on this earth, all of us do. And so I want to use all my energy towards getting what I want and my life purpose versus any other reason. So if someone's, it just bounces off. Everything that's not related just bounces off. So like Einstein said that the biggest decision that you can make is do you live in a hostile world or a friendly world? I personally feel like I live in a friendly world and everything is happening to me. I'm sorry, everything is happening for me, not to me. So something bad happens, it's for me. Something good happens, it's for me. And just easier for me to move forward. Yeah, the 5 minute journal. I'm still doing the 5 minute journal. I'm still sleeping in my gym clothes. I have a 1 inch cord for my phone, so I can't check it in my bed. No, I don't. I don't want to answer the question quickly so I can make a sale. I don't. Not the jeopardize. I want to make 200 sales a day. That'd be very difficult to do that and answer the questions one at a time. When I wake up, I answer 40 questions in 10 minutes, and then I'll answer questions until the next day, and it's going to cause negative feedback. It's going to cause me to miss sales, but that's okay. I'm not looking to have a perfect feedback record. I'm looking to have 200 sales a day. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you want perfect customer service, this is the wrong channel. Like I'm not I feel like I'm decent at customer service, but it's not my number one thing. I don't like I'm not, you know, I stand by my products, but I'm not going to focus 100% of my effort on that. I'd rather have the bigger picture. Should you start with clothes? I would start with whatever you own. So clothing is the easiest and it's the least scalable. That's just my opinion. Oh, I changed the 1, 2, 3 thing. So I used to say I used to do Mel Robbins 3, 2, 1 and then go, but I changed it to ready, set, go. So wake up, ready, set, go. Just go do it. Um, what's up, Domino? Yeah, I feel very old. I'm sorry, I don't feel old. I feel very young actually. I feel like I don't have very much time left. That's why um I don't get upset now when I see people like when things happen. I don't have time to be upset. I only have time to make progress. I only have time to make progress. So when things happen, fix it. I got a flat tire a couple days ago, and I didn't even have time to get angry. I didn't have time to get upset. I just pulled over, changed the tire, and went and immediately scheduled a repair. That's it. Didn't get mad. Didn't get worried. Just what are you gonna do? Like it's such a waste of energy to get angry over that. Gonna say I live in the 90s. It's great. I want to get into. Longevity is important to me. My fiance is younger than me. Women live a lot younger. Oh, live a lot longer than guys. And this is a little bit morbid, but like our relationship's gonna end one day because one of us is gonna die. So I want to live as long as I can. So I'm trying to take care of myself. Let's see. Um, yes, I'm still writing things down sticky notes, and I hate Mel Robbins because I put this sticky note on my phone, and it's really effective. eBay offer up Craigslist is great. Yeah, I don't really I only answer questions once or twice a day. Let's see, less complaining and more solutions. I know. I just this is why my YouTube channel, like, okay, I personally think I'm very good at writing clickbait titles, right? I'm very good. I could build a very very good living on eBay writing ridiculous um, clickbait titles and getting people to come in. And I think when I was that guy that would write clickbait titles, I would have 800 people watching. Okay, but I would feel dirty afterwards, and I don't want to feel dirty afterwards. I want to feel happy afterwards. So I'm not gonna write. You wouldn't believe what eBay did to me because I'm just not into that anymore. Let's see. Do I use best offer? I do because I have to, and I think because people are looking for a deal. Those are the reasons. I always counter offer, and I always write a message. Thanks for sending me an offer. Can you meet me a little bit closer to my price? If not, no problem. Thank you for your time. And see, Steve quit his job 2 months ago, and he's focusing on reselling, and he hasn't had any motivation problems. That's great. I think that motivation problems come from lack of clarity. So if you know what you need, you don't have a motivation problem. If you don't know what you're looking for, then you're going to get lost very easily. And that happens to me every day. Yeah, and unless it's like I'm like a hamster, I need to know exactly where the wheel is, and then I'll just get on it. Any tips to counteract throttling on eBay? Second store. That's helped me so much. Having a second and third and fourth stores just helped a lot because I've never had a bad day in all my stores. Right. And plus it's harder to copy because people don't know what I'm doing. Um all right. Well, next time, thanks guys for stopping by. Please hit the like button on your way out. If you want me to start an ASMR channel where I tell you guys to relax and everything is going to be okay, just make sure you hit your listing goal tomorrow, and make sure that you talk to one new source every single day. I really need to make this. I'll make a hypnotic 1 hour sequence of me whispering reseller tips into your ear, and then hopefully subliminally, you guys will build the business that you want. All right, guys. Everybody have a great night. Take care. Have a great weekend.